Hey, this is a video in a playlist. The series is the financial sector. It's on the treasury, which is fitting for tax day coming up. Proverbs 8:19. My fruit is better than gold. Yeah, than fine gold. My revenue than choice silver. 2 Timothy 2:6, the husbandman must be the first partaker of the fruits. The husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of the fruits. The husbandman that laboreth must be first. That's what it says. Okay? Matthew 17, I am going to read from the Bible because I am shooting from the laptop and reading from the phone. So hold on. I'm going to read it from here. Matthew 17, the temple tax paid by Jesus and Peter. When they reached Capernaum, the collectors of the half a shekel came to Peter and said, "Does your master not pay the half a shekel?" "Oh, yes," he replied, and went to the house. But before he could speak, Jesus said, "Simon, what's your opinion? From whom do the kings of the earth take toll or tribute? From their sons or from the foreigners?" And when he replied, "From foreigners," Jesus said, "Well, then, so as not to offend these people, go to the lake, cast a hook, and take the first fish that bites, open its mouth, and there you're going to find a shekel. Take it and give it to them for me and you." Okay, so that was Jesus paying Peter's taxes and his own. We have Genesis. Joseph made a law over the land of Egypt. And to this day, that Pharaoh should have a fifth part. Except the land of the priests, which became not Pharaoh's. Here's a message from the Book of Mormon. 2 Nephi 2:5, men are instructed sufficiently that they know good from evil, and the law is given unto men. And by the law, no flesh is justified. Or by the law, men are cut off. Yeah, by the temporal law, they were cut off, and also by the spiritual law, they perish from that which is good, and they become miserable forever. How about Zechariah 12:8? In that day shall the Lord defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as God, and the angel of the Lord before them. I don't know why that line's in the study. Sorry. How about Esther 3:9? If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of the business and bring it to the king's treasuries. Okay, that was probably Haman trying to bring blood money into the treasury. 2 Kings 12:10, and it was so that when they saw that there was so much money in the chest, the king's scribes and the high priest came up, and they put it up in the bags, and they told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. Daniel 11:43, he shall have power over the treasuries of gold, silver, and of all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. How about 2 Chronicles 25:24? He took all the gold and silver and all the vessels that were found in the house of God with Obed-Edom, and the treasures of the king's house, and the hostages also. And he returned to Samaria. Ezra 1:8 says that Cyrus, king of Persia, brings forth by the hand of Mithridath, the treasurer. Mithridath, the treasurer. And he gave the lands of the heathen. They inherited the labor of the people. Psalms 105:44. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. Mark 12:41. Jesus sat over against the treasury, and he beheld how people cast their money into the treasury, and many that were rich cast much. Exodus 1:1, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities. Ramses and Pithom were the name of the treasure cities. We have treasurer over the treasuries, that's Nehemiah 13:13, and I made treasurers over the treasuries. And they were Shemaliah the priest, Zadok the scribe, and of the Levites, Pedaiah. And next to them was Hanan, the son of Zaccur, the son of Mattaniah. And they were counted faithful, and their office was to distribute to the brethren. Proverbs 10:2, the treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. 2 Chronicles 34:17, they that have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the Lord delivered it into the hand of the overseers and into the hand of the workmen. Ezra 7, Artaxerxes, the king of kings, unto Ezra the priest, a scribe of the law of God of heaven, perfect peace. And at such time I make a decree that all they of the people of Israel and of his priests and Levites in my realm, which are minded of their own free will to go up to Jerusalem with thee, for as much as thou art sent of the king and of his 7 counselors to inquire concerning Judah and Jerusalem, according to the law of thy God which is in thy hand, and to carry the silver and gold which the king and his counselors have freely offered unto the God of Israel, whose habitation is in Jerusalem. It's a message from the Book of Mormon, Helaman 13:31. Behold, the time cometh that he curses your riches, that they become slippery and you can't hold them. Yeah, in the days of your poverty, you cannot retain them. Here's a message from James 5. If I can find James 5. Hold on. Maybe I can't. Hold on. It should be on this little thing. But it's not. Hold on, we'll skip it. We have Romans 13. You must obey all the governing authorities, since all government comes from God. The civil authorities were appointed by God, and so anyone who resists authority is rebelling against God's decision, and such an act is bound to be punished. Good behavior is not afraid of magistrates. Only criminals have anything to fear. If you want to live without being afraid of authority, you must live honestly, and authority may even honor you. The state is there to serve God for your benefit. If you break the law, however, you may well have fear. The bearing of the sword has significance. The authorities are there to serve God. They carry out God's revenge by punishing wrongdoers. You must obey, therefore, not only because you are afraid of being punished, but also for conscience sake. This is the reason why you must pay taxes, since all government officials are God's officers. They serve God by collecting taxes. Pay every government official what he has the right to ask, whether it be direct tax or indirect tax, fear or honor. And if I can find James, hold on, the little tab might have fallen off here. $95. It's James 5. Now, let's see. It says a warning for the rich. Here's the answer for those of you talk like this. Today or tomorrow, we're off to do this or in that town. We're going to spend a year there trading, make some money. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You're no more than a mist that is here for a little while then disappears. The most you should ever say is, if it's the Lord's will, we'll should still be alive to do this. But how proud and sure you are of yourselves. Pride of this kind is always wicked. Everyone knows what is the right thing to do and doesn't. Everyone who knows what's right to do and doesn't commits a sin. Now, an answer for the rich. Start crying. Weep for the miseries that are coming to you. Your wealth is all rotting. Your clothes are eaten up by moths. All your gold and silver are corroding. The same corrosion will be your own sentence and eat into your body. It was a burning fire that you stored up as your treasures for the last days. Laborers mowed your fields and you cheated them. Listen to the wages that you kept back, calling out. Realize that the cries of the reapers have reached the ears of the Lord of hosts. On earth you have eaten a life of comfort and luxury, and in the time of slaughter you went on eating to your heart's content. And it was you who condemned the innocent and killed them. You offered no resistance.